Hello and welcome back. This is Coach Carol with more engineering prompts for your family history. And in particular, we are focused on using the 5 rules for effective prompt engineering. And in this lesson or tutorial today, we're going to look at how to use those 5 rules in relation to genealogy analysis. So over here on the right-hand side, the purpose is genealogy analysis, and here are my sentences for the writing prompt. So they're in generic format here, and I need to expand that when I come to ChatGPT. So Chat is going to be my writing and genealogy research assistant to analyse the data in a census transcript, which I will provide for it underneath the prompt. The format is to be displayed in narrative format. In fact, I think I'll make that tabular format. Probably works better, with a list of occupations and relationships showing, and then add a paragraph to describe the occupation in that era. Maybe occupations in that era. All right, now that we have that prompt engineered properly, let's try that out. So we copy that and we move to ChatGPT. And I've put that in place here. I'll just double check that I've got everything. So this is for my Allery family tribe. And I've put in the census information for the family living at 42 and 59 Carter Lane, St. Andrew by Wardrobe. Display in tabular format with a list of occupations, relationships, and a paragraph to describe them in that era. All right, it's got a role. It will be my writing and genealogy research assistant. Its task is to analyse the data in the 1891 census. Below, I have put in the transcription of that data from the 1891 census, which I've gathered from my research in Find My Past. So just a simple list there, and let's execute that and see what it does with it. So now we're getting all that information in a neat table to show the relationships and various other pieces of information that are shown on the actual census. It's not quite showing all of it, it's not quite wide enough for the birthplace, but you'll see the beginnings of it over here. And it's including all the people that are named on that census, from Samuel and Jemima, the head of the family, and Mother Mary Allery, who is a widow. So she is actually Samuel's mother, and then the children. And paragraphs beneath. Let's have a closer look here. We've got Taylor and Tayloress mentioned as the occupations. And the paragraphs below give us a little bit of information about the fact that Samuel and Walter worked as tailors, a common occupation in the 19th century, and describe what they did, making, repairing, or altering clothing primarily for men, including suits, coats, and trousers. So their work would have required a good understanding of fabrics, patterns, and sewing techniques. Then for the ladies, Rosina and Jessie, the 2 daughters, were tailoresses. And it's described here as a tailoress usually made or altered women's or children's clothing. The fact that women in the family were also working suggests that the family belonged to the working class, as middle-class women typically did not work outside the home in this era. And then this interesting snippet, it's interesting to note the absence of occupations for Jemima, Samuel's wife, and their younger children, although they were at school. So that explains that. And I'm not sure what that white bar is there at the end. There's nothing else underneath. But a neat explanation of the data from that long list of transcript from the 1891 census. That's something that you might like to try to get some information showing in a different format. This is one of the things that ChatGPT does really well. And when you look at tabular information like this, you can see some of the gaps. It does mention that Jemima did not have an occupation, but with a busy household, I'm sure her time was more than well occupied with household management. And for the mother, who is then 72, I imagine she would be helping in the home. And then for the children, the ages show that George, age 13, he would be a scholar, and the other three young kids would be infants and not yet in school. All right, and then some of that snippet of information below goes a long way to helping me understand the status of the family. So have a go at that and see what you can come up with by analysing data from a census. If you want more, of course, look for the links below, which gives you more playlists of more tips and links to my courses where you might like to venture into learning from my courseware on how best to use your ChatGPT in various aspects of your family history. And I'll be back with more later.